Hey, welcome to Film versus Movie, the podcast where we debate the cinema you hate. I'm your co-host, Belton DeLaine-Facey.
And my name's Chris Shurr.
And on this podcast, we watch the films that have been slandered, desecrated, and caught with a problematic age gap by public opinion. And one of us tells you why it's actually pretty good.
And the other one's going to tell you why it's a steaming pile of shit.
And today, we are discussing Transformers: Age of Extinction, which is the fourth movie in Michael Bay's Transformers franchise.
No, that's not the right way to describe it. It's the Mark Wahlberg one, but the Mark Wahlberg one that people remember, not the Mark Wahlberg one that everyone forgot. That's the one it is. If you remember the time where you're like, oh, they got rid of Shia LaBeouf, it's that movie. But not the one where you didn't even notice the trailer.
Yeah, I feel like that's how you describe the Transformers franchise. Now, after two, you remember them by like the person that was lost. The third one is where they lost Megan Fox. Fourth is where they lost Shia LaBeouf.
The fifth one, you're like, I don't even remember that one. Then you're like, oh, okay, this one's the John Cena one. And then the last one, you're like, oh, that's the monkey Transformers. They got all the animal Transformers.
Yeah, by the time we reach Transformers 10, it's just going to be like television static on screen.
I think they're done. I think there's a law. Michael Bay's not allowed to make any more Transformers movies.
I mean, they released an animated movie, what was it, last year?
Yeah, didn't it? People like that one.
Yeah, so maybe they'll just stick to that.
I mean, they all made money. Not a single one lost money, except maybe the animal one.
I'm not even sure that lost money.
I think they all just made buttloads of money.
Yeah, Transformers was a franchise that for a while, I feel like after the third one, everyone was like, I don't know anybody who actually likes this movie or goes to watch them in theaters. How are they still making money?
I think every single dollar made on Transformers past 3 was made at kids' birthday parties. Like the entire theater was just full of kids' birthday. I mean, I'm guessing they don't even care about what the movie makes because it's all just an ad to sell the toys.
Yeah, like honestly, this movie felt like it was made for people who would just salute Optimus Prime, and that is children.
It's made for dads who don't know what their kids like. And they're like, oh, what are you, the new Marvel movie? Oh, there's Transformers. Oh.
Yeah, essentially how Academy voters vote on best animated feature every year. It's just like, all right, which one did my kids annoy me with? All right, well, getting into the plot of this. This movie takes place 5 years after the third installment where there was a big battle in Chicago.
Which neither me nor Belton had actually seen.
Oh, I saw the third one.
Oh, you saw the third one?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, well then never mind. I did not see the third one, and I had no clue what was going on. Like, I understood what was going on. It's a pretty simple movie. But like I didn't the overall lore. They kept introducing Autobots, and I'd be like, who is that? What? I don't know any of these guys.
No, it's funny that like the whole thing is just rooted in the idea that there was a big battle in Chicago that resulted in people's lives, because you know, if you watch Invincible, that's also a big plot line on that show, and I'm like, man, what's up with everyone just fucking up Chicago now?
When everyone was just like, those damn robots, I was like, Jesus, that was an intense war. People are acting more aggressive than like after 9/11. If I see an Autobot, oh man. If I was in Chicago that day, things would have been different. That's Mark Wahlberg talking about 9/11. It would have been so great if his character had said that.
Honestly, that quote might have come after this movie came out. I feel like if he had said that before, like, the writer definitely thought about it.
This movie is just post 9/11 Mark Wahlberg picturing what he would have done. Like, had he been. He's like, see how competent I am?
Okay, so 5 years after the Battle of Chicago, Autobots are in hiding. The CIA has a Black Ops team hunting them down with the help of Lockdown, who is a bounty hunter and assassin from Cybertron, Tron, and he promises to give them this seed that turns things into transmorphium if they get him Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Which, like, their whole thing is they don't trust Transformers, except the one guy who came down from space and wants to hunt the one Transformer who was on your side.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. So meanwhile, in Texas, there's an inventor named Cade who finds a hiding Optimus Prime and fixes him up.
I also, wait, you kind of glossed over. Optimus Prime was sitting inside of a movie theater, just a full truck. There is no door in that space that could get a truck through it. And it's not like a theater space where you're like, oh, you got to get big prop parts. No, it's just a movie theater. 0% chance that Optimus didn't just like drive through the wall. Essentially.
I am imagining how he got there. I imagine that he was just going through town. It's like, this place looks abandoned, and went in. You think the owners just showed up one day? It's just like, someone put a hole in my wall, and they didn't even notice the truck.
Hey, here's this broken down semi-auto that doesn't belong to any brand. Wonder who it is. What is this, a Ford? Oh, it's a robot head on the emblem.
Yeah, I am surprised that the studio never like sold the rights for a car company to put their logo on Optimus Prime.
No, they're not. They dilute the brand.
I mean, they use an entire character to sell Chevy Camaros for a decade.
That's true. I like how each movie the Camaro upgrades. Like Bumblebee's just sees a new, he's like, oh shit, new Camaro.
Well, yeah, how else are people supposed to know there's a new line of Camaros out?
Also, all right, we'll get to it. Keep going.
Okay. So yeah, an inventor named Cade fixes him up. He lives on a ranch with his assistant and 17-year-old daughter. That age specifically is important later. But his assistant calls the authorities trying to get a reward for Optimus Prime. The Black Ops team shows up at his house, attacks him. Optimus Prime defends them, and his daughter's boyfriend, who he did not know about, shows up and rescues them.
Yeah, those cars they were driving, like they had like a BMW sedan that they've put fat tires on.
Yeah,
they're so dumb.
Like I feel like it would make sense given his he has the background of a drag racer. It would make sense for him to have a car that's just compiled of different parts. But I would feel like the car would look older.
Well, no, it wasn't even. That was the CIA's cars. He had like the cool, what was it, like the drag? He had the coupe meant for like.
I'm not a car person.
I'm not a car person either. I just remember those tires.
Yeah, but so Optimus Prime helps them get away, and then afterwards, there's this whole scene where he's meeting the daughter's boyfriend for the first time. The boyfriend is 20, and he's like, "Isn't that illegal?" And then both of them recite word for word the Texas Romeo and Juliet laws to justify it. And then he pulls a card out of his wallet that has the law printed, which honestly, if you have that, automatic jail time.
Look, I'm not going to say it's pretty gross, but also it really comes across like they just didn't think about the ages. And then they're like, oh no. And they're like, what could we do? And they're like, all right, we just have to reshoot the scene. Have them explain the law. And they're like, that doesn't seem official. And they're like, write it out on a piece of paper. Hold it out like this.
Like, that's the thing. They could have just made the daughter 18. The rest of the story could stay completely the same. And then you don't have to have this weird justification for it.
Yeah, but then you can't have the kid talk so much shit to Mark Wahlberg. He's like, yeah, I know this is wrong, but it's legal. Fuck you, Marky.
I mean, I have more thoughts on that later. Right. I know statistically our audience is not that young, but in case anyone underage hears this, if you're dating someone and they have you memorize a law to justify why you should be dating, you should tell a trusted adult and stop dating them.
Look, if they wanted to even make it less weird, they could have done 17 and 19.
Yeah, that would be.
That was an age range where I'm like, oh, okay, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
But they went with 21 and 17. Or 20 and
20 and 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also feel like that's the outer limit where they could be in high school at the same time.
They also made him seem like an expert at replying to questions about dating a girl under 18. Like, he gets it all the time. He was just firing them off. Mark's was like, oh shit, what did he was literally just, he's like, oh, you're 18? He's like, no, it's like legal. And then he's like, okay, I'm blanking. I'm getting so off base. But yeah, he was very ready to answer that question in every single way possible.
Yeah.
It was weird. You can just cut that whole entire rambling statement off.
So going on with the plot, they soon discover the CIA is working with a tech company called KSI, because what KSI wants to do is make drones out of the dead Autobots' bodies. So this, of course, pisses off Optimus Prime. So he gathers all the remaining Autobots to go into their factory. They storm the building, but then the CEO is just like, yeah, humans don't need you anymore, and they leave.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, which is like, it kind of feels like you're selling out your friends at that point, because like from their perspective, they're walking into this building where they're just tearing open carcasses of your dead friends and, shoot something.
Well, I mean, they did shoot a lot of people. But yeah, I agree. I mean, their friends were already dead was kind of the whole vibe.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not going to.
Yeah. Also, like, Optimus's whole thing in this movie is that he no longer trusts humans. I think it's worth noting, up until this point, as far as we know, his interactions with humans has just been 2 teenagers and the U.S. government. So I get it.
Like, Optimus, you got to go meet some new people. Maybe get out of America.
Yeah, I know.
Have you been to South America?
Yeah, it's like, go someplace where they have universal health care.
Go to Australia. See what's up.
And so soon after that, seeing this as their prime opportunity to capture Optimus Prime, the CIA sends some of the robots KSI already has to go capture him, including one robot that was just made from Megatron's body. And they're like, oh, the problem has been he just keeps turning into Megatron. And so, soon after that, Lockdown captures Optimus Prime as well as Tessa, Cade's daughter. And so Cade and her boyfriend go onto Lockdown's ship, rescues Tessa, flies off. Lockdown hands over the seed to KSI, who plans to use it to make more transformium. But then the robot that was made from Megatron once again turns back into Megatron. Plot twist. And takes the seed to try and rule the world. So after that, there's a big battle that ensues. Optimus pulls out Dinobots.
Yep.
And, Autobots wins, and Optimus declares, like, they should protect the family. The end.
And then Megatron, like, skitters off.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm back, I'm reborn, and then just leaves.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's that guy we beat 3 times already.
Okay, so there's a couple. The seed turns. Did you say the seed turns all organic?
Yeah,
material into robot metal?
Yeah, so basically at the very start of the movie, they show where it's like the seed comes down, and in this world, it's the meteor that wipes out the dinosaurs. So it turns a whole bunch of stuff into transformium, which can then turn into any electronic.
I like that they made renewable metal. Like you could just turn a whole forest into metal and then regrow the forest. They kind of glossed over that, but
yeah, I mean that's the last thing the U.S. government needs, because at some point it's gonna just be like, all right, where should we bomb next for the sake of industry?
yeah, that's true.
All right, but this movie was directed once again by Michael Bay and written by Erin Kruger, who has written recent blockbuster hits such as Top Gun Maverick and F1. And so originally Michael Bay wasn't supposed to return to the franchise while they were on production for Transformers 3. He and Shia LaBeouf both announced that they wouldn't return to the sequel. Jason Statham was strongly rumored to be the new lead. After negotiation, Michael Bay decided to return. And interesting enough, among the actresses considered for test, Margaret Qualley was on that list.
She does
The Substance.
Haven't seen it. I only watch bad movies, Belton.
She was in the recent Honey Don't.
Oh, was she Honey?
I'm not sure. I missed that one.
Yeah, I think so. She was.
Yeah, she was also in Drive Away Dolls.
Haven't seen that.
I don't know. I just know she started collaborating with with one Coen brother after they are no longer the Coen brothers.
Weren't they doing a new movie?
Probably.
They're returning for their next one.
Yeah.
They're reuniting. That Coen brother just wants to direct movies that his lesbian wife wrote. He's in a one-way open relationship. If I'm getting this right, I'm pretty sure he's in a one-way open relationship where she hooks up with other women, and then she keeps writing all these lesbian exploitation films, and then he's directed 2 of them, and they've both bombed.
Age of Extinction was also co-produced with China Movie Channel because basically the back half of the film was mostly shot in mainland China and Hong Kong. It was their way of getting into the Chinese market to make sure this film made money. Yeah, interesting enough, even though they shot a lot in China, for plenty of scenes, they still use Detroit as a stand-in for Hong Kong.
I haven't been to Hong Kong, nor have I been to Detroit.
I
don't think it's gonna work though.
I just think considering they actually shot in Hong Kong, that's an insane production decision.
Maybe it's just easier to shoot in Detroit. Like they're more agree. I don't know.
All right. Well, this movie came out June 27th, 2014. On a $210 million budget, it made $1.1 billion at the box office, which, justified more sequels. It has an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. It was nominated for 7 Razzie Awards, and it won for Worst Director and Worst Supporting Actor for Kelsey Grammer.
I don't think that he deserved that. I thought he played that role as best he could.
I think it was just a matter of, this is one of those movies where at the Razzies, someone's catching a stray, and I think they decided his character was just the most annoying. The biggest part of this movie that probably got the internet talking was that scene where they discussed the Romeo and Juliet law, which again, make her 18 and it solves all your problems.
Yeah, but then she can't represent innocence, which I think is what Michael Bay was going for. I don't know. I would have made her 18, but...
Okay, I have more to talk about how Michael Bay depicts women in my notes, so...
Go for it.
All right. Well, now it's time for our opening statements. I will be attacking the film and Chris will be defending.
You want me to start?
Yep.
Transformers isn't great for what it is. It's great for what it isn't, which is boring. 2 hours and 45 minutes of a truly mediocre plot, and yet I was entertained the whole time. Is it great? No, but I would have been fine with spending $20 on a ticket. 100% fine.
When someone tells you you'll be watching a new Transformers movie, your bar is already low. Well, get ready to crank it down even more. This franchise continues to go only where it's been before, which at this point is so overdone, you might as well blow it up, which is the one thing Michael Bay knows how to do. All right, since I brought it up, I will say for a character they explicitly state as 17, they still find ways to sexualize her. Like there are shots early on in the movie, she is wearing short shorts, and we are getting upskirt shots at the same time.
Yeah, I mean it's Michael Bay.
Yeah,
he's a little creepy.
Yeah, I mean he definitely is, but I also feel like her having a boyfriend just essentially replaces any character development she could have had, because it almost seems like her character is there to bring the boyfriend in, where I feel like the story could have progressed if they gave a lot of his traits to her.
Like she was the race car driver.
Yeah, because I think you know, in a better version of this, she is the heart of the story, and like as core, it's a story about a father and a daughter who like no longer understand each other coming together. And I feel her having a secret boyfriend in there, it works as this big reveal that she has this secret part of her life he had no idea about. If they just made it so that she was secretly like doing all this drag racing, and you know, when they're being attacked at the house, she gets in the car and she's like, get in. And he's like, I'm driving. He's like, trust me, get in. And then she pulls all these stunt moves. You still have that moment of like, oh, I don't know my daughter anymore.
Yeah, that probably would have been a bit better. They could have had the boyfriend die real early on too.
Yeah, they could. Honestly, at a certain point, I want Mark Wahlberg to just shoot him in the face, which is something I'm also holding against this film. I don't want to agree with Mark Wahlberg.
Look, not defending that part of the movie, but they did do a good job of making him just an absolute shit to Mark Wahlberg. They sold a really unlikable character purely to be an asshole to Mark Wahlberg. That's his whole thing. Every time Mark Wahlberg's like, no, don't do that. And he's like, you can't even afford a payment on a house. I'm 20 and have sex with your daughter. Shut up. And then he just like moves on. Like that.
But that's the thing. They're supposed to like come together at the end, and there's never a turn where it's like you feel like you understand this guy on a better level. And again, that's also something where if it was Tess making some of these comments of like when they're hiding out, it's just like, oh, don't mind us, we're just going to go make out somewhere, then that would have been more playful between father and daughter. Like she's just ribbing him, but like it's this guy who's meeting his underage girlfriend's single father for the first time making this, because like it's also like not even in times of calm. Like before they go on this alien ship, he says directly to him, remember, I'm not helping you rescue your daughter, you're helping me rescue my girlfriend. Like fuck all the way off.
No, that was a great line. It's just designed to torture Mark Wahlberg as much as possible.
Yeah, again, but we never like see him be good. Like
no, that's not the point. The point is you just don't like Mark Wahlberg, and you're like, oh yeah, he's getting his.
Yeah, except like we're clearly supposed to be like sympathetic to Mark Wahlberg, like because they depict him as just this struggling guy who's trying to do right by his kid, and then you just have like this asshole boyfriend. Like again, if you're going to introduce a boyfriend, make him like somewhat of a decent guy. Like they don't have to see eye to eye on everything. thing, but like as an audience member, I feel like I should understand like, oh, okay, like they actually get each other as a couple.
Did you ever see the show Parental Control?
Yes.
On MTV? You know when the parents and the shitty boyfriend are watching the date and they're talking shit to each other?
Yeah.
That was the energy of these two characters in my head. Was he's the dad and that's the shitty boyfriend that they're trying to get rid of. And they're just being mean to each other.
Yeah. But if that's the storyline, give us the catharsis of getting rid of the shitty boyfriend at the end.
Yeah.
I feel like Tess as a character is just there because I know in the first Transformers movie it still has the same problem of sexualizing Megan Fox, but her character was at least useful.
Yeah,
like she had her own stuff going on. They could put her in the middle of a fight scene and she isn't a sitting duck or damsel in distress. Like just give Tess something to do other than bring her boyfriend into the plot.
She also gives shit to Mark Wahlberg about not being able to make any money. I thought the Dinobots were sick. They're campy, but they're a good addition.
Yeah, if they were more involved with the story, it would have been better. They were just there to sell toys.
Yeah, I'm about to go buy some toys, Belton. They created the exact effect they were trying to. You had that scene, Optimus Prime rides a T-Rex into battle. It doesn't make any sense in the plot, but it's badass. It's like it's a great, for what it is, it succeeded.
Yeah. It was like, again, they just feel like this random thing. Like if they were maybe built up more where Optimus Prime was just like, we have to find the predecessors, and you're like, who are the predecessors? And then like and then during the final battle, Optimus like we have the predecessors, and then the Dinobots come on. Like that would have been better. But instead, the way it comes off in the movie, they're about to enter the final battle, and Optimus Prime is like, I gotta do a thing, and then he gets the Dinobots.
Yes, he does. The Dinobots can't even talk. I don't know. I think like the entire point of the movie is the action, and the Dinobots added to the action.
Okay, and I mean with that, I feel like the Dinobots would have been better to have early on in the story, specifically because involving the action. This is the fourth movie in the franchise, and you haven't figured out what else to do with Transformers besides give them guns.
Well, that's all Transformers do, Belton.
Yeah, but it's like they are robots from another planet. Like, just get creative with some of their weaponry. Like, you ran out of ways to just give them guns on their arm. There's one guy whose face turns into a gun.
Well, yeah, it was sick.
Yeah, but the thing is with that, they don't know how to like change up the action so that it feels different. Like everyone's getting the same weapon, everyone's fighting the same way, the same moves. Like I know with the John Wick franchise, you could also say the same. It's like, oh yeah, everyone's just doing kung fu with guns, but they find ways to make it different. They put the fights in different environments, give them different things to use. This franchise just doesn't do that.
Belton, I think you're asking for way too much from Transformers 4. First of all, due to the fact that Transformers can just plow through buildings, there's not like New York's not going to be that much different than Chicago. It's just going to be giant robots tearing up big buildings. I think by the fourth, you're just like not going to, you've gone way past diminishing returns. There's no grand plot you're going to get out of Transformers. There's no new ideas or anything. It's just, can you take 2 hours and 45 minutes and make it interesting? Which I think they did. I think that was the longest movie we watched in terms of how short it felt. There's no point in that movie where I'm like, ugh, an hour and a half longer. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty, like, I never really wanted it to end. I was just like, this is, oh, okay, there's more fighting, sweet.
Okay, considering this movie had a $200 million plus budget, I don't think I'm asking for enough. Like here, because thinking about Pacific Rim is also a movie centered on giant robots fighting, and they still like have the robots be different so that they have to fight differently. At some point, a giant robot just picks up a cargo ship and uses that as a weapon. Like that to me is more interesting than everything this movie's doing with fight scenes up until the Dinobots. Like the Dinobots are the only ones that fight differently because they are functionally structured differently.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just by the fourth Transformers, there's no Genesis. This is a cash grab through and through, but I think it was a fairly successful cash grab.
I mean, the thing is, like, I also feel like the Transformers themselves, like a lot of them aren't visually interesting. Like with some of the fight scenes, I feel like at a certain point you might as well just crumble tinfoil on camera.
No, it's better than that. You had the big man with all the different guns, and then you had the other guy with guns. Oh, and then you had Bumblebee who has guns. And then you had the samurai.
Okay, yeah, that one's also weird. There's one Transformer who's just cosplaying a Japanese stereotype. Like he's fully a samurai. He talks with a Japanese accent. I'm honestly curious how he came to be. He's just like someone who came to Earth for a few years and became a weeboo.
Yeah, he landed in Japan. He really liked the culture. He don't ask him about Japanese women. He talks way too much about submissiveness, but like,
like that's something I just couldn't stop thinking about the whole movie. It's just like, why is this random alien robot Japanese?
Why are some of them animals? Belton, none of it really, it's just to sell toys. It's just like, can they keep your attention for 2 hours and 45 minutes?
I mean, considering the Dinobots came down when dinosaurs were roaming the Earth, that one actually makes sense.
Did they?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. They came down. They were the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs. So that's all that was there.
Wait, they were? I thought the seed was.
Didn't they come down with the seed?
I don't know. I thought that they were just on the ship.
I'm trying
to the nuance of this plot belt.
I'm trying to look up the backstory, but I'm getting all this stuff from like 3 different Transformers cartoons. So we're just gonna skip that for now.
Yeah. All right. I like Kelsey Grammer's character. I like the head of the CIA who just wanted money.
See, I just felt like the villains, like both him and Stanley Tucci's character, who was the CEO of KSI, I just felt like as villains, they were really bland. Like they just had generic motivations, nothing personal about them. Like, because with Stanley Tucci, the way to get his character to change sides, because for a while he does not care about the ethics of this at all, and then Mark Wahlberg's like, "Hey, did you know you're the bad guy?" And now he's on their side.
Well, no, he was like, "Hey, Megatron is back, and you know it." And the guy's like, "Yeah, Megatron's back. You're right." Yeah, he really doesn't take a lot to flip.
Yeah, and then like I feel like the Kelsey Grammer's head of CIA Black Ops was just super generic. He was just like, "Oh yeah, we want to get rid of Optimus Prime," which like to me that doesn't make sense. It makes their relationship with Autobots flimsy, because all Autobots have done was help humans, and now you're like, all right, we're gonna hunt them down.
Well, I mean, it's like very post 9/11-esque. Isn't
The
that
entire franchise was post 9/11.
Yeah, but like, isn't that's like very CIA coded? That's something the CIA would actually do.
They spent the last 2 minutes. It's like the Autobots were just high-fiving the U.S. government. The last 2 movies, I mean.
I think that they should have just had Kelsey Grammer play Kelsey Grammer like in 30 Rock, but still be the head of the CIA.
Like, oh yeah, this is what I did during the downtime in Frasier. I just got
there you go.
Yeah, it's like I just moved up in the CIA ops. But it's like I think with them, it's like just give them something personal, like make Kelsey Grammer lose his wife in the Battle of Chicago or something.
No, I like I just want money. I worked too hard for not money. Now I'm gonna work hard for money.
Honestly, in this economy, I don't want to hear the head of a CIA Black Ops team complain about money.
Doesn't it seem like Michael Bay kind of became disillusioned with the military-industrial complex?
Oh, he's always been obsessed with
No, it seems like if you watch like 1, 2, 3, and then you get into this one, it's a little more cynical. Actually, I guess they were I don't know. I wouldn't really call it criticism, but like they did basically have the first movie be centered around shady government operations that caused the near destruction of the U.S.
Yeah, but I do feel like a lot of this franchise is also military glorification.
No, definitely it is. Like, I agree 100%. It's kind of got like a complicated take on it because very often the military are the villains, or at least playing a part in the role of the antagonist.
Yeah,
the military hunt Shia LaBeouf at one point in the first movie. I never saw the second movie.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember that movie correctly, it's because like they caught something related to Transformers, and it's like, all right, this kid is there. The thing is, like, Michael Bay, especially with this franchise, has this energy of like America, fuck yeah. Like, if you took a shot anytime you saw an American flag in this movie, you'd be passed out by the end.
Yeah.
Going off of his shooting style back to the fights scenes, I think his style really works against the story in this way, because Michael Bay tends to shoot things where he's trying to make every shot as big as possible, but when you do that, none of the shots feel big. And I think I really felt that during the action scenes, because they just felt poorly paced, because you're trying to make every hit feel like a big hit. But you know, if you ever watch boxing, you know not every hit is a knockout punch. You're trying to like get smaller punches in there and wear down your opponent, and that helps you like get the feel of the fight. He doesn't have any of that in here.
Yeah. I feel like he goes more for war, but I get what you're saying. They killed off TJ Miller really fast.
Yeah, they did. They gave him a horrific death.
Yeah. I feel like I remember reading somewhere that Michael Bay had an issue with TJ Miller, and so he just killed him off as fast as possible. Like, I just feel like I remember reading that originally TJ Miller wasn't supposed to die. And then he started giving shit to Michael Bay, and Michael Bay was just like, I'm done, and killed him off.
That's so funny, because he killed them all so early in the movie. That means he was giving him shit like during pre-production.
Hang on.
I feel like none of the characters really had a character arc in this movie. Like, they end exactly where they are at the beginning, except Tess's boyfriend isn't a secret anymore.
Well, Mark Wahlberg accepted the boyfriend.
I feel like he accepted the boyfriend through like such a stereotypically male-centered way, where it's just like, I've seen you shoot a robot. You're cool in my book.
I'm going to be honest. If I have a daughter one day and she ends up having a partner I don't like, but then he murders a robot by shooting it, I'm going to be like, all right, he may not have a job and he smokes too much weed, but he fucking hunts robots like a badass.
Again, I think if you want to have the story be like centered around Mark Wahlberg and his daughter, they don't really come together. They don't get a whole lot of scenes where it's just them, and they come to more of an understanding with each other. Because again, it feels like once a boyfriend shows up, she gets sidetracked.
Yeah. Which honestly, she had too much on her plate.
Yeah, and that's something where you know, especially considering like they don't go more into her character, like because they make a big deal of her like trying to get financial aid for college. At no point does she say what she wants to study. Like that would be a very simple thing. Give her an interest to just say, this is why I want to go to college for. And then she's a more realized person and with her own goals in life.
Okay, so this is what Reddit said. Michael Bay just hated TJ Miller on the set of one Transformers movie and apparently said, "You're not funny, TJ. We hired you to be funny, but you aren't. Nobody has laughed at you all day. There's a group of kids from the Make-A-Wish program on set, and you've done nothing to make them happy. Step it off. I'll kill you off if I have to." Then the movie came out, and people noticed Miller's characters killed oddly quickly and in a very brutal way that looks really expensive.
That sounds like something that would happen on 30 Rock. Like I could totally see like on 30 Rock, Tracy Jordan walks in. Liz is just like, "You're back already. I thought you were supposed to be on the Michael Bay movie." "Yeah, but then he said I wasn't funny. Decided I should die 5 minutes in. So it only took 2 days."
Jenna's like, "Why are you back so soon?" And she's like, "Well, I convinced TJ Miller to tell Michael Bay about he's doing something wrong. And then TJ got killed off and he stabbed me. So I missed my shot."
Like also the whole, like, I hired you to be funny. Like there wasn't that much humor, especially early on.
Yeah, TJ Miller's supposed to like be funny with his character, but he doesn't say funny things, nor is he interesting or likable.
Yeah, because the main thing I remember about his character, he's Mark Wahlberg's assistant who doesn't get paid. At some point, he gives Mark Wahlberg money, which is not how hiring's supposed to work. It feels like at a certain point in the beginning, Mark Wahlberg was kind of eccentric. He kept going like, "I'm an inventor. This could help me with my inventions."
There's an issue. We've ran into the same issue with this that we did with The Happening, where Mark, coming off as someone who knows how to do stuff that isn't punching or shooting people, he has a hard time selling it.
Yeah, like at a certain point watching, I was wondering if Mark Wahlberg kept saying inventor because either K didn't have the qualifications to call himself an engineer, or the writer just never thought to put the word engineer in the script.
I think the issue was being an engineer implies you do a lot of math, and being an inventor implies that you can be a scientist without doing math. That's my guess. Why because you can be like eccentric and you don't have to sell it. Like if you told me that someone was an inventor and they didn't seem like an engineer, I'd be like, "Oh, they're eccentric." But if you told me someone was an engineer and it didn't seem like they could do math, I'd be like, "It doesn't seem believable."
Yeah. I just find it weird that they at the very beginning they don't make him look like a good inventor at all, and then later on in the story, he's turning alien technology into a surveillance drone.
Dude, I think it was already a surveillance.
Oh yeah,
drone.
it was already a surveillance drone.
Their surveillance drone into his surveillance drone.
Yeah, he turned it into his own personal camera, but he hacked a surveillance drone from the government.
I don't think that Mark Wahlberg's character knows how to code HTML. I just don't believe it. So that is a good point.
Yeah.
Things.
All right. Well, now it's time for our concessions. This is where I tell 3 things I liked about the film, and Chris gives 3 things she didn't. My first one, I actually thought it was a pretty impactful story choice to kill off TJ Miller that early, because they do play him up as a main character. You think he's just going to be the quirky sidekick throughout the whole movie. And so the fact he dies in an early battle really does make it feel like there are actual stakes.
Yep. Other than Optimus and Bumblebee, I had no clue who any of the robots were. I just there was no continuity. I'm like, where did these new robots come from?
I want to say if I saw a third one, I would have remembered the Japanese robot, but honestly, it's been so long, I can't be confident.
You could have killed them all off, and I wouldn't have cared. I guess that's the real criticism.
Yeah, because all the time I've been saying it's weird one of them's Japanese. I'm imagining there's someone out there that's going actually they all lived in Japan for 5 years. It's weird he's the only Japanese one.
It's weird that they're not speaking English with a Japanese accent.
My next session, one of the first scenes where the CIA Black Ops finds an Autobot, that was actually a fun and interesting scene, because it really throws you into the world of the government doesn't trust Autobots anymore, and when you come in from previous movies, that is a shock.
There's something about the way they edited the girl's eyes that was just unsettling. They edited them to be so green that they almost came off like she was the Aryan poster child in a sci-fi novel. It was bizarre. I found it really distracting.
So my thing with Michael Bay likes a lot of shots that use blue and orange contrast. So I imagine, I feel like if I look up the actual actress, her eyes are blue, and then Michael Bay was just nah, if her eyes are blue, then it looks too weird with everything else.
It's got to be even more blue, and he's like, "What's more blue than blue? Green."
I'm trying to get a good look at her eyes. It does seem like she might have bluish green eyes, right? Oh yeah, she does have greenish eyes. Probably with just the way they did color correcting for his film, it really emphasized that.
Yeah.
All right. My last concession, the lockdown ship that they went on, that was a cool and interesting set piece. I think they did a really good job making it look like you could navigate it, but also not entirely with human logic. So there were still surprises.
Yeah. Plus the scene where they fire down all the tethers and they're climbing across it was pretty.
Yeah.
The whole Romeo and Juliet thing was distracting. The best way to put it is they could have just made him 19, her 17, and given him a lip ring. They could have made them both 18 and just given him a lip ring, and it would have had the exact same effect. I don't know if they're going for a joke. It's just a bizarre.
I feel like, again, I understand giving her a secret boyfriend emphasizes she has this life he doesn't know about. I feel like making him older is just makes everything else feel weird. I do feel like if he was an 18-year-old saying all the stuff he says to Mark Wahlberg, you're more willing to, as the audience, to be like, all right, that's just a dumb kid. Now it's time for our closing statements.
I'll start. Michael Bay is an auteur. You may not like his style, but it's distinct. I could pick out a Michael Bay movie from the sound alone. All you have to do is wait for no female characters to get developed. Solid film, 9 out of 10 slow motion sequences with a close-up of a woman's eyes.
Imagine making a movie about giant alien robots, and the most memorable scene is where an adult recites a law to justify banging a minor. This film abandons everything having to do with character for generic villains and storylines. As far as I'm concerned, this franchise was a trilogy that consisted of the first 2 movies and that one interview Megan Fox did about Michael Bay. I give this movie a degree from the Mark Wahlberg School of Inventing. This has been another episode of Film versus Movie. Be sure to give us 5 stars and likes wherever you listen and follow us. I'm Belton DeLaine-Facey.
My name's Chris Shurr.
And we will see you all next time.